Okay, let's talk about integers. I know this is probably the wrong time to reinforce integers, but I feel that as we go through math, we need to understand these set of rules because we will run across adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing throughout our actually throughout our lives, even with our checkbooks or whatever the case, our time, even though computers pretty much create that, your paycheck, all of that, we need to know and understand about integers. So we want to make sure, just briefly, that we understand how these integers work. So first, let's look at adding integers with same signs. Well, of course, there are only two signs, and that's a positive and, of course, a negative. So when we're adding integers with same sign, which is, let's say, a positive plus a positive, then we're going to get a positive. If we add integers with, well, I forgot about one, negative plus a negative will always give us a negative. Example, 6 plus 12, both are positive. It's going to always give us a positive, which in this case will be 18. A negative 6 plus a negative 12. Again, we add 6 and 12, we get 18, but we keep the sign, which is negative. So we shouldn't have any issues with this. This is, if the signs are the same, then they stay what that sign is. Positive plus a positive is a negative. Negative plus a negative is a negative. Now, if we're adding integers with different signs, we take the smallest absolute value and subtract and we want to subtract it from the largest absolute value, and we want to keep the sign of the largest absolute value. That's the way it works. Example, if I'm going to add a negative 6 plus 12, I will take 6, which is smaller, subtract it from 12, and I will get 6, but because 6 is larger, it is a positive 6. Say, for instance, if I'm going to subtract if I'm going to add 6 plus a negative 12. Here, again, 6 is the smallest, so I'll subtract 6 from 12, and I'll get 6, but because 12 is the largest, it becomes a negative 6. So again, it's just following the rules. Now, the thing about subtracting integers just means that we want to add the opposite. That's all that means, that we're just adding the opposite. So once we add the opposite, that means we will return to the rules for adding integers. That's simply all that means. Let me give you an example. Say if I have 6 minus 12, adding the opposite. So this will give me 6 plus a negative 12. Now once I get here, I return back to the rules of adding that says when the signs are different, subtract the smallest from the largest absolute value. So here I'm going 12 minus 6. That's going to give me 6, but because 12 is larger, it becomes a negative 6. Let's look at another one. Let's look at 6 minus a negative 12. Well, it says to add the opposite. So this becomes 6 plus 12, which now we go back to the rule which says when the signs are the same, you add them and keep the signs, and 12 plus 6 gives us 18. It is really simple as long as we understand what these rules, the statements in these rules, and we should be able to do that. And once we do it, then we should not be confused. Go look at this several times and ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. Also practice. I will put something up shortly dealing with multiplication and division of integers. Bye-bye.